if I record?
Yep.
Okay. All right. All right.
Here.
So I was so excited for you to be like the first person in the series because when I think of like local, supporting local, and someone who's made a big impact in the community, like you were the first person that came to my mind.
Thank
Um,
you.
we've known each other for a few years now, really because I guess like when my work aligned with your work, because I was like, I need someone to save the day in this really weird situation, and it brought me to you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Um, so I feel like a lot of people that are local to us also know who you are, but for anyone who doesn't, like, do you want to talk about, I guess, Wing Mom and how we got connected through that?
Yeah, for sure. I'm always kind of shocked in a, you know, I don't know why. It's very strange because I don't mean this in a boastful way, but like I do get shocked when people have no idea who we are because I just want everybody to know who we are. Just because they can pick up the phone and make that call, right? So my name is Kate Maxwell. I started Wing Mom back in 2017. I guess Wing Mom truly started September 24th of 2016 when I lost my fiance. Um, because it brought me to a place in my life where I needed help, and it was more help than I had ever needed in my entire life. I'd gone through a lot of things in my life, new parent, losing siblings, addiction, but never did I need as much help as I needed at that very moment. And I was really lucky because I got it. I got the help. I had people coming in and out of my house every day helping me. Um, but what really, really revealed itself is how many people didn't have help. And not only that, but how many people were expected to do it without help. That's what was really shocking. Like I turned around and realized how fortunate I was when Chris was alive because he was a firefighter. And so he only worked 1 out of every 3 days. So we were able to make so many things work. And when he was no longer around, I was like, how am I going to make this life work? And I had no idea how many people questioned that every day. I mean, it's silly now to look back and realize the struggle, but I just was blessed to always have this huge village. So um, once it became apparent to me that two things were going to be true. One, I would never be able to go back to the life that I lived. I had owned a marketing company and I was doing freelance marketing. I mean, I'm talking small um, side gigs that turned into a bunch of clients, and I hired somebody and then hired somebody. It was just, nothing, this big conglomerate, anything like that. But I I did a lot of that side by side with him. And so I was never going to be able to go back to that and be that person. I just didn't exist anymore. And so honestly, Wing Mom truly was started because I needed something. I needed purpose. I needed to get off the couch and out into the community and help and give back the way that I had been given back. And it was fun because the company was started with my best friend. So we just did jobs side by side and they were fun and they were silly. And, all the while I didn't realize how much we were helping people.
What was the
Really.
first thing that you guys were being asked for? Like when people started reaching out to you for help, like because I mean now I feel like there's no question that I can't be like, Kate, what
Yeah.
help? But what was like the first thing?
So I think because we were both, I think because, so Meg was a connector in the community already, Meg Hurst, who started Wing Mom with me. And yeah, I mean, like, it's funny because I think, if she doesn't know somebody, I know them. And if I don't know somebody, she knows them. So, like, we will figure it out together. I think, you know, Meg had started doing airport rides for people. She had these big cars because she had, trucks for her food trucks and she had, already two kids. And so she was just that person that was like, hey, I'm here to help. She was kind of a stay-at-home mom, kind of already getting into the hustle and bustle of Cajun Snow. And so people had already asked her to do things. And then I think really honestly, if I look back, I realize the day that I went to North Wilmington Moms, which is a Facebook group, and said, for whatever reason, and I'm sure people could read between the lines. So whatever reason, I don't have any furniture anymore, right? His estate had come in and kind of taken some things that belonged to him or his kids, and the community was like, yep, we got you. And that night I had furniture. So I knew we would be able to go right to the North Wilmington mom community, which is where we went. And we basically just said, we're here. Whatever you need us to do. We are that literal utility tool, that wing mom. We didn't have a website yet. We didn't have a Facebook page. We just announced in a mom's group that we were here to help. And literally the next day was a snowstorm. So we were picking people up and taking to the grocery store. We were going grocery shopping. I mean, just Meg and I with her two babies and my two kids were, I mean, she drove to Newark to get somebody's prescription. Like, I'll never forget the day. And at the end of the day, I kind of looked back and was like, okay, well, here we go. I didn't realize now that I truly needed to like buckle up. But I mean, it was pretty clear pretty quickly when we announced in a mom's group that we were here to help in any way that we were going to be needed.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, at the time, so how did you go from that? Because I think a lot of people, for whatever they're doing, they have like ideas and they're like, oh, that would be cool. How did you go from that to making it like an actual business? Like, what was, because I think a lot of people will just kind of do that and then they stay in that spot where they're just like operating from the garage in a way. They're just like, we're just going to do it like this, the two of us.
Yeah.
Just how did you make it what it is?
So, I mean, a couple of things. I was really blessed to have a best friend that was in, for lack of a better term, which I love the word, she was a hustler. She knew how to get things done and she was going to help me figure it out. But honestly, it happened very organically. I wish there are definitely some things I would have done differently, but I think the best thing that happened to us was being open to do whatever people needed us to do. We did not fit in a box. We did not start off with some sort of formula or format to follow. We just let it happen organically. And of all the wing moms that I have opened in the different states, we've tried so many different paths to train people when they open up a wing mom. And the best training is when something happens organically. You don't know what the area that you are living in needs until they need it. There are certain pockets that need senior support. There are certain pockets, we're in Atlanta and they need personal assistance.
Interesting.
It's an absolute insanity of how many people call me and they'll say to me, so I kind of need a babysitter, but I also need somebody to do my groceries, but I also need somebody to, I'm like, you need a personal assistant. I'm telling you right now, you need a personal assistant. I'm going to tell you how they work. I think after we realized this was going to be a business, though, we did want to do some things to let women know that, prior to opening Wing Mom, having a personal assistant seemed to me in my brain to be reserved for somebody that was a high up executive who could afford to have a personal assistant. It wasn't attainable for somebody like me. Having somebody do my laundry never seemed like that was something that I would be not worthy of, but it just didn't seem in my sphere of anything I would have access to. Home organizing, even having a house cleaner, like none of that stuff seemed, for lack of a better term, it just didn't seem like I was worthy of that. I was a mom and I had a job and I was expected to do all of these things. And I think a lot of what we're noticing is a lot of women are realizing, like, not only, I mean, women forever have known they can't do it by themselves. We've known it forever. We've just known it silently.
Sure.
The guilt's just deep down. We just take it under the chin. But now I think the gift of Wing Mom for me is people realizing that there is help. You're allowed to ask for help, and the help that you want and need is affordable.
Yeah.
Not, this pie in the sky idea. You can have somebody come to your house literally for 2 hours a day and just help.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I mean, I've always thought it was brilliant, and I don't even remember how I heard of you the first time. It might have been North Wilmington Moms or something, but I mean, I know I've called upon Wing Moms to help me organize my personal house. I know I've had you guys help me with like whether it's like estate clean out or, you know, I mean, big jobs, small jobs. I feel like it really is like if you're not sure where to go, ask Kate. She'll figure it out. And when I think of you as like with a superhero cape on because there are times that I'm like, I don't even know what this thing is that I need. I know that this person needs to get from point A to point B, but I don't really know what I'm asking for. Like, is it clean out? Is it like paint touch up? I feel like you have a way of just knowing what to put where, which is always amazed me. I know you mentioned that you have like you're in Atlanta now, and I knew that you were in a couple of other markets. Where is Wing Moms now?
So we go from Catskills, New York, all the way down to Fulton, Atlanta, North Fulton in Atlanta or in Georgia. Excuse me. I always say Atlanta. Like, I mean, the city. For somebody like Delaware, Atlanta is like a state, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But it's really Georgia. I need to be better about that. We are in Arizona. We are opening up in Kentucky, and we are opening up. Well, we are in talks. I probably shouldn't say opening up yet. The people that now help me run the company would be mad at me, but we're almost in Colorado Springs, Colorado. And honestly, I think that's another thing is there, yes, in business, there needs to be a roadmap. That's definitely something I would have done differently, but you don't know what you don't know. So when somebody calls me and says,
Oh, I'm gonna hit record again. I think maybe
I
it
mean,
stopped it.
I don't even pay attention to like actual questions. I'm just like bebopping around in my head. So
Well, I
sometimes
know
it's probably fucked up. Sorry.
you were no, it's okay. I know you were telling like we were talking about how you kind of have expanded to other places. And I remember you saying like you're from New York to Georgia. And then I think it was shortly after that we lost everything.
Yeah, let me know when you want. I can't see you. That's the only problem. Like it says you're there, but there you are. Okay. I just saw
Well,
a little
yeah.
bump.
Yeah. I don't know why I my camera's on, but for some reason oh, no. But that's okay.
All right.
We'll leave it be for now until it shows up.
Okay. Yeah. I think the biggest test has been how rooted we are in the community in relation to how successful we are. Lots of businesses come into a community solely to make money. And it's not like we don't like making money. It's just, it's not our primary concern. It's not the big motivation behind what we do. You ask any one of my staff, any one of them, if I could give all our services away for free, I would. And sometimes I do. And then they have to deal with it. Um, because we actually have like a task, like a specific task, and they've had to change the way that we do things because I still answer the phone in the other branches. I still do a lot of the sales. I still step in. Like when I call people, they're like, wait, you're the owner? I'm like, yeah, why wouldn't I answer the phone, you know? Um, and so they've had to like line item stuff and flat rate stuff because I'm like, that doesn't make any sense why that would be so expensive. And they're like, my staff's like, okay, because we'd like to, pay ourselves
Ye-
at some point.
Yes. Well, I know, even just not even from like getting the task done and sometimes having to discount it or just because you're like, I'm going to get it done type of person. But outside of that, I feel like you do a lot in the community too. Like, I mean, all throughout the year, I notice when you're like using your powers for such good, like your community of people that you're putting, like food together for people who need something, or if somebody is going through like a devastating loss of like a home or something, you're like on it, trying to get them whatever they need for their kids. I mean, are these
Yeah.
people reaching out to you, or do you just hear about it through the grapevine?
So I think it is a perfect marriage between I am in recovery and I am very active in that community. And because I have access to kind of two different avenues, people in need and people that have, it seems natural. And I kind of have become that go-to person in the community. I don't say that to be like, oh, look at me. I'm happy to be that person because I feel like, and I tell this to a lot of our branch owners, a lot of your day is going to be convincing people why they don't need Wing Mom and how they can get services in other ways. Because in my experience, when you help, that comes back. that absolutely comes back. So like maybe I explained to somebody how they can get, durable medical equipment delivered right to them from Medicare rather than, buying it on Amazon and having us come and install it. And yes, that may be a sale that wasn't made that day, but they're going to call me when they do actually need something that I can help with and that I feel like I helped anyway. But also I was built this way because that's how you have to be when you're in recovery. You have to give back. Helping people helps you. Um, I have been that way most of my life just because of how I was raised as well. But really, once Chris passed and I saw how amazing the community was to help me, it became a big driving force in who I became as a person. It made up a lot of who I was.
I know a little bit about that background of, your story, and that's always been like, my heart has always gone out to you knowing, that you've been through that. You know, with everything you've done in the community and like being a mom in the community, if you were to go back and tell yourself one thing when you were first kind of getting started, what would you give, like, I guess, what is that, like 8 years ago, Kate? Like 9 years ago, Kate? What would you give, like, former you?
I kind of have been thinking about this, and it's so hard because it is so ingrained in me to appreciate every part of the process, no matter how hard it was or how sad it was or how much of a struggle or even how happy it made you. Like I know each step, good or bad, got me to where I am. I definitely think I fell into the trap that I think a lot of small business owners fall into, which is the moment you start seeing success, you want to throw money at something. You want to hire another person. You want to, expand maybe before it's not financially savvy. We have been very fortunate to be as successful as we've been, but I know that had I done things differently and I had a better team, yes, we'd probably be more successful or busier or in more places. But I have done a really good job to make sure that we maintained our integrity and our mission and vision. And I think losing your mission and vision is something that a lot of small businesses go through, specifically ones that aren't successful. They'll look back and realize, like, wow, we really lost who we were, because your first thought process is, okay, I'm bigger. Now I need to do this. Now I need to do this. Now I need to do this. And you fall into these traps. And the next thing you know, you're so twisted around. You're not the same business you used to be. We still do things very similarly to the way we did things when we started. I think the biggest thing I would say is don't lose yourself, because we almost did a couple of times. It's exciting to expand. It's absolutely exciting. But sometimes it doesn't make sense. Sometimes you just are good where you are.
I think that is so smart. I've worked for and with companies in my past too. It does seem like, they're amazing when they're local and they're small and, everyone kind of cares about every detail. And then sometimes they do get too big too fast. And I think that's like the demise of them. So
Either they're, either they're successful and completely unhappy, or it doesn't. I'm still a business owner that derives happiness from my business. I don't know if that makes sense. It's still very much part of my heart. It's not just this animal, this machine.
yeah. Now, what is your role now? I know you said that you still like answer the phone, and I mean, obviously, I still am like, Kate. I don't know if you're the right person to ask this question to, but like, what is your role now? Because it has gotten so much bigger.
Yeah. So I think a lot. First of all, I'm so sorry. It's just I have a dog and he's gonna bark.
Oh, I didn't even hear it.
Okay. So I think there is some confusion as to far as to like who I am to the company still, because I started Wing Mom Delaware, Wing Mom North DE. And it was our largest company and our flagship. It was our largest region, obviously, because we started here. And it became so much where I could do one of two things. I could continue to run Delaware, and the the real machine that is. I mean, it is truly a machine. There's, hundreds of people that work, thousands of clients that are being helped. Or I could pass that on to somebody who wants to run it and expand it, but doesn't have that much interest in actually the expansion of the company itself. So I then could take the rest of the company. Sorry, my dog is just. I could take the rest of the company and expand, but I could not focus on both. I could not run the day to day of this large flagship well or expand. So I chose to sell my North Delaware branch, which is now Wing Mom Delaware, to somebody that still is at Wing Mom Catskills. And then that not only provided me the finances to kind of take a step back and funnel money into the parent company. I mean, this is the stuff where I get icky because I'm like, well, I had to do this and I had to do that. Like the business stuff always makes me feel almost like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like I'm an imposter, right? That's I don't, but the reality is that once I sold my Delaware branch, it gave me the financial freedom to invest back into the company so we could expand. And then it also gave me the freedom from a capacity standpoint to really look at what expansion would look like. We've always struggled to try to figure out, would we be a franchise? Would we be branches? Would we just sell outright like a box, like a model and just give it to people? And I think the best part about me is that I'm not scared of change at all, at all. It's actually probably a detractor for some people because I'm always like, okay, let's fix it. Let's do it. But also I want everybody to have a wing mom in their area. Yes, it would be amazing to have, institutional wealth for my kids. But for me, having a wing mom in lots of areas where people know there's help is much more of a motivator. So to the long-winded answer of your question is I still run the day-to-day in the branches that we have expanded to. So I still am the salesperson for Bucks County, Montgomery County, for Fulton, for Phoenix, believe it or not. And then whatever we open, we've centralized everything. So other than Delaware, and the Catskills, everything kind of runs through this central funnel of everybody that works for us. And we touch it before it kind of gets out to the community. It's hard to explain, but
Okay.
the messaging is consistent now. I like answering the phone. I like doing all the sales because I do like making the determination that, Sally Smith's mom needs help and she can't afford it, but I can afford to give her help. So we're going to do it. I think I'm the only one empowered to make those decisions right now. I'd love for somebody else to be empowered to make them.
So, I feel like it'd be fun if we asked like a couple of, fast rapid fire questions.
Okay.
So we'll do that. And, before I let you go. So would you say you're more of an early bird or a night owl?
I'm an early bird, 100%.
Oh gosh, I envy you. I get up early, but I hate every moment of it.
No,
Um,
I can't. Everybody knows, don't call me past 9 p.m. I'm in bed. I'm up by 6. Like, just don't.
oh, I love that. Okay, so what is one non-negotiable thing that you do in your daily routine that you just feel like you would never give that up?
Walking my dogs.
Oh
It
yeah, I love
is,
that.
yeah. I mean, they're my kids. My kids are 17 and 19. They barely need me. My dogs are my babies. It's really sad, but they're part of my family. As a matter of fact, my first dog, I feel like really pieced me back together when I was in such a place in my life where I didn't have a reason to get out of bed, and getting a dog gave me a reason. And so it starts my day. It gives me the time where I'm not on my phone, because immediately when you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing you do? You pick up your phone, because
Yeah.
more than likely your alarm is on your phone. So you have to turn your alarm off, and it just starts this then I could easily just get out of bed, walk to my office, and just start my day without even thinking about what my day is going to look like. And walking my dogs, getting coffee, not being on my phone, starting my day, that's like a vital part of my routine that I would never give up. Just time to myself, actually.
I love that. And I'm a dog person too. We have dogs, and I don't walk them every day. Sometimes my kids do, so maybe I need to like be the first one out there with them. Um,
It was funny you agreed today, but I did
yeah,
it.
yeah, I know it's so bitter cold today. But I feel like the fact that that's something that you feel has brought you like peace and kind of like centering, I think maybe that's worth me trying to put into like my daily morning.
Yeah.
Do you have like a book or a podcast or like one resource that you and this is like a selfish question for me because I always like to pull things from other people that I admire. Like do you have like one thing that you would be like, listen to this, you've got to read this or check this out?
So here's the thing. I am not I don't have a lot of like motivational books or podcasts. I mean, I read, believe it or not, I read a lot of source material for being in recovery. It's very centered and faith based, so that helps me out a lot. I've never really been drawn to believe, like, to be honest, to any kind of like entrepreneurship type info. I listen to Crime Junkies. I would say that sometimes working on yourself is such a full time job that you actually need something else to kind of pull out of yourself. And that's kind of like listening to Crime Junkies for me is I love true crime. I mean, what, you know, female doesn't, right?
Yes, yes.
But it gives me the opportunity to still use my brain while not overthinking because I'm an overthinker. And so I still kind of sit there and listen to the podcast and I'm still thinking, but it's just mindless. Like,
Yeah, it's like a different type of
yeah,
thinking.
you can focus on, I think that it is possible to focus on too much self help. Like, you just
Yeah.
out of yourself for a little bit.
No, I love that like the true crime stuff too. Sometimes
Yeah.
when I'm on a long I know I have a long car ride between one place to another, I put on like a three-parter. So by the end of the day, I'm like I get the whole thing, the whole case done.
We're in Bucks in Montgomery County, and I'll go there once or twice a week, which is only an hour, but in traffic sometimes. And so I always have some type of crime podcast on
Yes.
just to think.
Um, well, I know that when you're the end of our time and I so appreciate you. I I probably shouldn't just like text you when I need wing mom help, but so you can this is also a question for me, but where should everyone go? I mean, like and it might be different answers based on where people are that see this or hear this, but where do they go to find your services? And also not just wing mom, but wing dad, like or wing kids. I feel like you have it all. You have a solution for everything. So where do they go?
So I will say this. I think the reason why I have a solution for everything is because I basically have, if you look at my life and the wing mom services that were offered, they mirror my needs. So when my kids were younger, it was like kids' rides, cleaning, babysitting, transportation. When my kids got a little bit older and then my parents became sick, we added senior companionship. We added cleaning and home organizing even in a bigger fashion. Then when COVID happened, we added handymen. And so we just keep adding as to when I need things. Um, and also you can see a lot of our policies are because of the way I want things done. I hated when my mom was sick that companies had 4 hour minimums for senior care. And my mom was sending everybody away. And so it's like having a 1 hour minimum for somebody specifically with memory issues is really important because it may take a long time for them to be open to somebody coming in their life. That's just a little caveat. But wingmominc.com actually has every one of our branches, whether they are solely owned, we all are still one big, large family. And it's wingmominc.com, and you can find your state, you can find your location, you can see what's coming soon. Eventually, we'll have a zip code finder, so you'll be able to enter your zip code in and see your closest wing mom. And if you don't have one there, there'll be a little pop up that says, "Do you want to open up a wing mom?"
Oh, that's so
Um,
cool.
yeah,
Hmm.
so wingmominc.com, and yeah, and honestly, I tell this to everybody. Stephanie, still call myself. Like I miss it. I mean, you know me. I'll go get in a dumpster myself right now, and it does not bother me at all. I miss it. I still go in the field. I'm actually going to be doing some activities at an assisted living facility just because I like being out in the public. Um, just because idle hands.
Yeah. Well, Kate, you're awesome. I really appreciate you as a friend, as a local business owner. I admire you, and thank you for being my very first Casa collab. I couldn't think of anyone better to interview today.
I really appreciate it, and I love you. And anything you need, I mean, you are just like me. You give back to the community, and you truly care, and you can tell.
Oh, well, thanks, my friend. Enjoy your weekend.
Oh, enjoy your weekend.
All right,
Bye.
bye.